Because of a can of chocolate, I filed for divorce from Qiao Yanjing. In the 7th year of our marriage. She looked at me impatiently. I'm tired. Stop it, okay? I looked at her calmly and picked up the things that had been prepared. This is a divorce agreement. 1. When I was washing clothes, I found half-eaten chocolate in Qiao Yanjing's windbreaker. I was stunned. How could she have such a thing? Because she is engaged in the fashion industry, Qiao Yanjing has always had high requirements for appearance. For the sake of skin condition and keep fit, she has been anti-sugar. I don't eat too much carbon water. How can I eat such a sweet portable can of chocolate? I remember the cookies I found in the car a few days ago. She said they were sent by colleagues, but her colleagues know about her quitting sugar. How could they give her sugary cookies? After hesitating for a long time, I finally went to the garage to check the driving recorder. The sound of closing the door sounded, and a smiling male voice was a little familiar. Sister, you are so kind. Thank you for waiting for me. The voice is warm and bright, which is very beautiful. But I only felt cold all over my body, and my heart seemed to be hammered with a dull pain. Qiao Yanjing smiled and said, everyone is working overtime. You leave early. Aren't you afraid that they will have a problem? Bai Jisoo pretended to be arrogant. I am a post-00 generation who rectified the workplace. What's more, they all know that my sister is waiting for me. I will be afraid of them when my sister is here. Qiao Yanjing laughed out loud because of the youth's unique publicity. I suddenly remembered that when I worked with Qiao Yanjing, we had not yet announced our marriage. Every time I met her in the company, she walked in front of me blindly, as if she had never known me. Whenever I talk about it, she is always impatient. Don't you know what the company system is? If our relationship is announced, will I still have a chance to be promoted? At that time, my heart was full of Qiao Yanjing, and Qiao Yanjing's heart was full of work. As her position became higher and higher and her work became busier and busier, I simply resigned as a cook at home and focused on taking care of her daily life. But now, she is not afraid of delaying her promotion at all. Bang! The sound of gently opening the lid. Sister, I'll treat you to chocolate. Qiao Yanjing refused with a smile. Sister, don't eat this child's thing. You can keep it. No, Bai Jisoo said coquettishly. I'm going to feed my sister. Listening to the crackling sound of Qiao Yanjing chewing chocolate beans, I came back to my senses and laughed self-deprecatingly. After eating the chocolate fed by her younger brother, she said, eat less. I'll take you to eat well. I turned off the driving recorder and didn't want to listen. At this moment I had a splitting headache. I wanted to open the window to ventilate, but my body seemed to be emptied, and it was exhausting to raise my fingers. I remember the past. In order to make Qiao Yanjing's appetite better, I cook for her in different ways every day. In less than a year, I can go from a kitchen novice to all kinds of dishes. One mid-autumn festival, I cooked a squirrel osmanthus fish. Qiao Yanjing, who didn't come home for dinner until midnight, dropped her chopsticks when she saw this dish. It's so oily and so sweet. How can I eat it? After saying that, he got up and went into the bedroom, leaving me alone to sit at the dining table in a daze. Because of the festival, I wanted to cook some festive dishes to ask for some kindness, but it turned out to be so unhappy. I knew that she was under a lot of pressure at work. At that time I regretted my carelessness. Qiao Yanjing was hungry during the festival, but she forgot that not every plate of dishes was full of squirrel osmanthus. But now she ate half a can of chocolate. It turned out that it was not sugar that was wrong but me. I found the divorce agreement that was put up. This agreement has been signed for a long time, but I have always been reluctant to take it out. I admit that I am still reluctant to this relationship. I have liked Qiao Yanjing for too long. The first time I saw her I heard my heartbeat. Since then, she has been the most beautiful color of my youth. Unfortunately, she fell in love with the schoolgirl. The school has a superior family background. His mother did not agree to the marriage and introduced him to Bai Fumei, who was in charge of the household. Qiao Yanjing chose me, the licking dog who silently accompanied her. I know it all. I don't care. I'm waiting for the day when she really sees me, waiting for the day she falls in love with me. Unfortunately, I failed. Once I saw Bai Jisoo, I felt uneasy. She was too similar to Qiao Yanjing's favorite person. They are all sunny and clean-looking, playful. Everywhere she is an eye-catching C position. Unlike me, she will only stand behind her silently. The first thing that made me feel uncomfortable was that Bai Jisoo called very late. Although he was talking about work, he called late at night without any urgent matters. An intern did not call his colleagues and leaders, but directly to the department director. No matter how he thought about it, it was not in line with common sense. At that time, Qiao Yanjing was lying on the sofa. Her cervical spine was not good, and sometimes she had a migraine. I was massaging her to relax. She suddenly got up and connected the phone in a hurry. I can feel her jubilation and a trace of tension. Don't worry about it. Don't think too much. We are an industry that needs innovation and don't have any worries. She listened patiently to his work trivia. During the whole call, Qiao Yanjing's mouth rose unconsciously. After hanging up the phone, she was in a good mood and hummed a song when she applied the mask. I sat in the living room by myself, and my heart was like a knife cut. I think Qiao Yanjing didn't want to feel sorry for the family at the beginning. She was very restrained. Every time Bai Jisoo called, she was on business. But feelings are probably the most uncontrollable thing in the world, and covering your mouth will also come out of your eyes. She began to keep her mobile phone in her hand, often laughing out loud for no reason, and became more and more like to work overtime. When I objected to her recent situation, she said coldly with contempt, "Song Yan, you are a big man who does nothing all day long and is suspicious of gods and ghosts. It's really appetizing." Hearing such words, I was like a deflated ball and no longer had the courage to question her. In fact, I don't blame her. I have always known that I am not the one who is loved. It's just that my heart hurts so much that I remember that I also have the right to be loved. It sounds a little absurd to divorce for a can of chocolate. But I'm tired. I don't want to be a loyal dog. Even if no one loves me, I have to love myself. 2. I took a deep breath and took the divorce agreement to Qiao Yanjing. She was replying to the email in front of the computer, and put the things in my hand aside impatiently. "Song Yan, can't you see that I'm working? How many times have I told you? Don't bother me when I'm working." This time I couldn't hold back my anger and interrupted her directly. "This is a divorce agreement. Take a look. If there is no problem, just sign it." Qiao Yanjing was stunned for a moment and then sneered. "Song Yan, you are very advanced and you still learn to take retreat as progress? Why, it's not enough for me to eat and drink for you, and now I have to coax you. You want to eat soft rice hard, right?" I looked at him calmly. "Did you lose your memory? When I graduated, I had a better choice. It was you who said you needed me to accompany me that I joined the company I didn't like with you. The more you do in your favorite field, the better you are. You are so busy working overtime every day that your stomach is bleeding, so I resigned to take care of you. How much does a live-in nanny in Modu cost per month? Is that money enough for me to eat and drink? Don't say that you are so great. I, Song Yan, am taking care of you, not you who provide me with food and drink." Qiao Yanjing stared at me with wide eyes. She didn't expect that I would say such words to her. Then he waved his hand and swept the divorce agreement to the ground, and shouted at me in anger. "Why are you crazy? Get a bargain and pretend to be good. You think I'm old and not as beautiful as before, so you want to divorce. Half of the chocolate in your pocket has been eaten." "What?" Qiao Yanjing looked impatient. Suddenly, she seemed to remember something and felt a little guilty. "Is it just because I ate chocolate?" I looked at her and nodded seriously. "Yes." I paused and said, "You can disagree. If you disagree, I will sue. I'm a family cook and I have time." Qiao Yanjing stared at me with hatred, sneered, picked up the divorce agreement that was thrown all over the ground, signed it and threw it to me. "Get out of here." Qiao Yanjing pointed to the door of the study. I didn't give her a glance, turned around and left. "Song Yan, don't beg me like a dog. It's useless for you to regret going out of this door," Qiao Yanjing said viciously behind me. My face turned red, my chest was stuffy and I couldn't breathe, and my heart was pounding. In the past, I also mentioned divorce when I was desperate, but every time I was reluctant to give up our family and the people I have loved for so many years. She always knows where my pain is. Although he always forgets my birthday, he knows how to hurt me best. I put on my coat and said, "Let's go. I just have time. Let's go to the Civil Affairs Bureau now." Qiao Yanjing was not humiliating me. She stood up and shouted, "Song Yan, are you really here?" She pointed at me angrily. "I bought the house you live in and I bought the car you drive. It's all because of me that you have such a good life. Without me, do you think you can live in such a house in Modu and live such a life?" I didn't give her a single look. I opened the door and made an invitation gesture. "Don't talk nonsense. The Civil Affairs Bureau will be off work later. Please hurry up." Qiao Yanjing sneered repeatedly. "Good, Song Yan, don't regret it." Standing at the door of the Civil Affairs Bureau, I sighed. I didn't expect that there was still a month of calming down. Qiao Yanjing snorted coldly and drove away, leaving me here alone, but I'm used to it. That I took the subway home and packed up. She looked at me with a gloomy face that could drip water. Over the years, almost all her things have been added at home, such as clothes, bags, shoes, perfume, makeup, sunglasses, jewelry, etc. It wasn't until the day I left that I realized that all I needed to pack was a little clothes. A bigger suitcase and a travel bag were enough. I couldn't find a suitable house for a while, so I went to the hotel. I ordered a fast food to fill my stomach, and then lay down in bed to rest. But I suddenly found that the days of leaving Qiao Yanjing were also good. I thought I would toss and turn, be sad, heartbroken and die, but I didn't. On the contrary, there is a feeling of relief just like taking off the shackles on the body, and even breathing is much easier. It seems that after so many years of disappointment, I don't love her as much as I thought. It's just that loving her has become my habit. I don't find that my love has cooled down with my heart at all. 3. I didn't have a dream all night because I had to get up early to prepare breakfast. I rarely slept so relaxed in recent years. Unfortunately, I was woken up by a phone call. The caller ID was Qiao Yanjing's mother. I hesitated and still connected the phone. Before I could speak, her mother gave me an order and said, Songyan, Jingjing's grandmother is going to celebrate her birthday. Don't forget to prepare a gift and remind Jingjing to arrange a time to go home. Don't drink at the birthday banquet. When it's over, send your relatives and friends. When I heard her mother's voice, my mind was buzzing. I interrupted her without saying that. Auntie, you can call Jingjing directly. Jingjing is so tired at work, and it's not like you enjoying leisure at home. You have to arrange these things for her. Don't let her worry. My Jingjing wants to make a lot of money. I didn't finish a word, and what greeted me was a series of face-to-face lessons. I didn't want to listen anymore, so I increased my tone. Auntie. What? Songyan, what do you call me? Auntie, I'm divorced from Jingjing. If you need anything, please call Qiao Yanjing. After saying that, I hung up the phone. I didn't want to hear her mother's harsh shouts, and I didn't want to be harassed by the phone again. I directly turned my mobile phone to flight mode. It has been like this for so many years. In Qiao Yanjing's mother's eyes, I am a soft man raised by her daughter. Their whole family has always been arrogant to me. When Qiao Yanjing fell ill, when she heard that I would take care of her at home in the future, her mother also wiped her tears and praised me as a good son-in-law. I grinned self-deprecatingly, left these things behind my mind, and slept with a quilt covered. For so many years I have been on standby 24 hours a day, circled around Qiao Yanjing. It was the first time I slept for so long. As soon as I turned on the signal, I received several text messages to remind me. It was all Qiao Yanjing. I was too lazy to reply. Just as I wanted to order a meal, she called again. Songyan, where are you? I was silent and didn't wait for my answer. Qiao Yanjing continued. Go home quickly. My parents are here. Haha, it was said that we were divorced, but her mother still didn't give up teaching me a lesson. With an unknown fire, I directly refused. What should I do when your parents come? Your family is reunited and I don't disturb me as an outsider. Your parents are also here. After saying that, Qiao Yanjing hung up the phone. I sighed. Since I couldn't avoid it, I had to face it. This is also good. Some words have been kept in my heart for too long, and I should also be made clear. As soon as she entered the house, Qiao Yanjing's mother greeted her warmly. Oh, Xiaoyan is back. I looked at her expressionlessly and didn't talk to her. Her mother was really a master of face change. Seeing that I ignored her, her mother's face changed and began to be weird. Young people are very angry. Aren't the two young people stumbling over? Xiaoyan every day stay at home and don't work, and don't like to deal with people. It's also good to go out for a walk when you have time. Her mother is really stubborn. She seems to be polite and saying it for your good. In fact, the needles hidden in the cotton are all soft knives. Xiaoyan, you should also have a moderate temper. Jingjing is tired enough to go to work to support her family. Your parents are so old, and they still let them come all the way to worry about you. How bad it is. Her mother blamed me in 3 or 2 words. I looked at Qiao Yanjing. She didn't seem to hear anything. I couldn't help laughing at myself. Songyan, when is it? You have fantasies about her. I don't think I can wait for the day when Qiao Yanjing will speak for me. Her mother has always been snobbish. At the beginning, Qiao Yanjing's first love was more than her own son, and she was satisfied everywhere. After the two of them were separated by each other's mother, Qiao Yanjing was so smear and didn't want to tell her family the truth, so her mother didn't like me everywhere and embarrassed me. She always felt that my appearance delayed Qiao Yanjing's marriage to a rich man. Although my parents are civil servants and have a good family background in their hometown second-tier cities, in their eyes, I am just a foreigner from the countryside, which is not the same as the rich in Modu. I still remember that when I changed my words at the wedding, his mother reprimanded me in front of all my relatives and friends before arrogantly receiving the tea. In her heart, I was just a scheming foreigner. I don't know how to climb up Qiao Yanjing and let her lose an excellent son-in-law. Later, I heard from my cousin that my mother had been wiping her tears in the car home. In fact, after marriage, Qiao Yanjing and I had a honeymoon period. She also wanted to get along with me and manage this marriage well. That we also planned to go to Mauritius for our honeymoon. Who knows, his mother has to ask me to pay for it to take a large family of relatives. I didn't want to agree, but I didn't bear her mother's yin and yang. Our honeymoon trip turned into a family gathering. It should have been the sweetest moment in our lives, but it has become a time that I don't even want to recall now. It's like a chicken flying and a dog jumping on the ground. Her mother must hate me very much. She always smiles at me on the surface and tries everything to make me feel bad behind my back. For example, I am allergic to peach hair. When she doesn't know, she never brings anything to our house. After knowing it, no matter spring, summer, autumn, and winter, as long as I meet peaches, I will definitely buy them. She said she loved it and asked me to wash it. I told her that I was allergic, and she said that I was too pretentious as a big man. I could only wear a mask and rubber gloves to wash it. Even so, my whole body would still be itchy. Once the anti-allergic medicine at home was just used up, and soon I scratched the bleeding marks on my body. Qiao Yanjing not only didn't care about me, but also moved to the guest room to sleep in disgust. And the 7th and 8th aunts in the family, whose mother likes to call me to be a driver and run errands. It's nothing for the junior to do these things, But when I ran up and down, I heard her say to her relatives, "How can Song Yan compare with your son-in-law? That's all. As long as she comes to live in our house, she will stare at me to wash clothes and do housework, shouting that Qiao Yanjing's clothes are all big brands, and she can't use the washing machine. I'm a big man, and it's useless to use a washing machine and dryer to wash a few clothes. I really can't talk about these trivial things. I can only digest them by myself. I don't want Qiao Yanjing to be upset. After a long time, I am getting more and more depressed. Qiao Yanjing has not noticed it in the past few years, but if I don't say it, she will pretend not to know. After all, her father played cards and drank heavily, and it was not easy for her mother to pull her up, several jobs for her to finish college, so she told me again and again that she was grateful and guilty to her mother, which made me more considerate. Such little things have consumed the relationship between us. This time I don't want to put up with it. I looked at her mother coldly. I know it's not easy for my parents to come all the way, and you still ask them to come? Her mother didn't expect that I would fight back and stared wide-eyed. Song Yan, I then said to her. If you open your mouth and shut up, Qiao Yanjing will go to work to support her family. Am I not working? It was Qiao Yanjing who asked me to accompany her that I resigned and went to work in her company. Qiao Yanjing was so tired that her stomach was bleeding in order to be promoted, so I resigned to take care of her at home. She wants to eat less and more meals. I have 3 meals a day plus afternoon tea and late-night snacks, laundry, mopping and cleaning, and I also have to work part-time as an errands and driver for your family. How much does it cost to hire someone to do these things? Why did she support me at work? Won't she go to work without me? Qiao Yanjing couldn't see me fighting her mother like this. Song Yan, what's your attitude? How did you talk to your mother? That's your mother. We are divorced. Don't leave moral kidnapping, okay? I didn't give birth to her, nor did she raise it. I didn't spend a penny for her to study in school when I grew up. I used to call her mother for the sake of your face, but now she is a fart. Qiao Yanjing wanted to say something else with a black face. I directly interrupted her and continued. You are very good at reasoning with me. Where were you when your mother forced me to wash peaches? Where were you when I was allergic to my medicine? What about when your mother pulled her relatives to interfere with our honeymoon? What about calling me like a dog to help your relatives work? You don't even let go of one if you flatter. How dare you say what kind of attitude I have? What's wrong with my attitude? What kind of people do you want to step on the horse, and I don't look good? I vented my grievances and anger over the years. The more I said, the more I felt wronged. I shouted with my red eyes like crazy. Qiao Yanjing and her mother were frightened by my crazy appearance. Her mother stared at me with wide eyes, opened her mouth but said nothing. And Qiao Yanjing's expression was complicated. She seemed to feel a little guilty. Haha, at this point I still have illusions about her. It's really cheap. My mother couldn't help howling and crying and ran to hug me. My father lowered his head and sighed with an ugly face. Son, my mother cried silently. I was heartbroken when I heard it. I touched my face and found that I was in tears. At this moment I finally knew who was the one who was ashamed. It was the parents who had been proud all their lives but were ridiculed by Qiao Yanjing's mother. They are afraid that I will be in trouble. They have never stayed at home for one night. Every time they come to see me they stay in a nearby hotel. It's my unfilial piety, and I have to involve them for practicing myself. I said, family, what's the matter? Aren't they all trivial things? How did you say it and cried? Qiao Yanjing's mother started again. Xiaoyan, he has a grudge against me. He blames me, he resents me. People, it's useless when you're old. Mom sometimes has a bad memory but she didn't mean it. It is said that a son-in-law is half a child, and I have always regarded Xiaoyan as my biological son. I just want to laugh when I hear her words. And my mother shed tears, turned around and scolded like a tigress guarding her cub. Bah, I'm good. Do you want to be my mother here? You old woman, no matter how dare you look at me strangely. Take care of my wife for 7 years until she has achieved something, but she begins to dislike me for my ability. After the divorce, she cried and begged me to get back together 39,103 inch. I won't kill you. Her mother couldn't hold on her face when she was scolded. Oh, this is still eating royal food. Children are ignorant and have a temper. When they are old, they don't know how to persuade them. They still add fuel to the fire. How can there be such a mother? I was so angry that I was about to scold him back when I was beaten by my mother. Hold on. Let's go home. Now that you are sober and don't be stupid, your parents will be relieved. We won't care about other things. My father stood up from the sofa and said, Your mother is right, son, let's go home. Qiao Yanjing saw that our family of 3 said they were leaving and hurried over to stop us. Mom and Dad, it's all a misunderstanding. It's good to make it clear between Song Yan and me. My mother shook off her hand and said, Dingjing, I didn't agree with you two when you were together. It's not that you're bad, but that you don't like my Xiaoyan. But Xiaoyan likes you. If you don't marry me, we as parents can only agree. We are not as rich as in big cities, but diamond rings and wedding dresses are bought according to your wishes. 500,000 yuan for dowry, money for weddings, money for travel. It's up to us to lend money and can't wrong you so that you too can live a good life and be happy. But what have you been to Song Yin over the years? Qiao Yanjing was speechless by my mother's words. She stood aside with her head down and looked distressing. I've never seen my mother here today in my impression. My mother has always been gentle and has never had any quarrels with her colleagues and neighbors. In the past, Qiao Yanjing didn't want to go home with me during the spring festival, and my mother also stood by her side. Tell me that now is a new era. There is no habit for women to come to the man's house for the spring festival. Jingjing is usually so busy at work, and it is right to have a good rest during the holiday. Only today did I know that I thought I was good at hiding it, but in fact my parents knew everything. When Qiao Yanjing's mother saw her daughter eating, she quickly ran over to say something. My mother didn't give him a chance at all and shouted harshly, "Get out of here, the good dog won't get in the way. Don't force me to pump you. I'm a big man who is tens of years old, and I still need my mother to protect me." However, because of the cooling off period and the division of property, I couldn't go home with my parents in the end. They still have to go to work and can't ask for leave for too long. They also transferred a sum of money to me before leaving, and they didn't forget to comfort me. Everyone's life will take a detour. Don't think too much. If there is anything, don't hold it in your heart. You still have your parents. I have been sleeping until dawn recently, and sometimes I feel that I don't get enough sleep. Before that, I had been insomniac for a long time. I was always tense, afraid that I would not do well enough and let Qiao Yanjing down. I'm afraid that she will regret it. I'm afraid that she will regret marrying me, so I'm careful everywhere. I will prepare different recipes every week and take good care of her every set of clothes. The house will always be spotless. She will be on standby 24 hours a day. When she drinks, I will be a substitute driver. And when it rains, I will deliver an umbrella. For a while, I felt that my life was very humble and boring. I didn't know why I was alive. I went to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor said I had moderate depression and prescribed me medicine, but I lay in bed at home and couldn't sleep all night. Now I'm lying in a place other than home sleeping soundly. Feels good to sleep until dawn. 4. My parents asked me to have a good rest for a while so that I don't have to be in a hurry to find a job. That's what I think. But while resting, I want to do something. Qiao Yanjing and I were in the Department of Journalism when we were in college. After graduation, I entered the news department of a local TV station, but not long after, Qiao Yanjing asked me to resign. She said that if we were in a different place, we would break up. I resigned decisively and came to the sales department of a beauty company where she worked. I don't like this industry, and I haven't made much achievements in the company. Later, Qiao Yanjing rose all the way, and the influence of the brand became bigger and bigger. She became busier and busier, so I resigned and went home to be her full-time nanny. Sometimes I look at other classmates in the classmate group and circle of friends. Some of them studied abroad, some took the postgraduate entrance examination, some changed their posts, some set up their own official accounts, and some went back to their hometowns to take the civil service examination. Each of them has its own wonderful things. Only me, the only achievement for so many years is this failed marriage. Fortunately, it's not too late. Late at night, I was lying in the hotel and browsing my mobile phone. An idea gradually came to my mind. At this time, the mobile phone suddenly popped up a prompt message. It was the intelligence system at home, and Qiao Yanjing should have gone home. Recently, I didn't want to see Qiao Yanjing's message. I wanted to let myself go for a while and was about to delete the client, but I accidentally clicked in. There are two people in the picture, Qiao Yanjing and Bai Jisoo. A few days ago, he looked like he didn't want me to leave. Now he has brought his new love home. It seems that I filed for divorce in a timely manner. Qiao Yanjing couldn't walk straight. It seemed that she had drunk too much. Bai Jisoo thoughtfully helped her to lie on the sofa, opened the refrigerator very freely, and brought her a bottle of water. Qiao Yanjing took the water and threw it out angrily the next second. She shouted unhappily, "I have a bad stomach. Can you bring me ice water? What about the alcohol soup? I want to drink alcohol soup." "Sister, there is no alcohol soup here, or I'll order a takeaway. You can make do with some first?" Bai Jisoo said he was ordering takeaway, but he didn't even look at his mobile phone. Qiao Yanjing suddenly lost her temper and dropped everything on the table to the ground, and then staggered to the bedroom. Bai Jisoo hurried up and half-hugged Qiao Yanjing's waist. I looked ugly. I felt sick when I thought that they were going to turn upside down in our wedding bed. I was about to quit when I was about to quit. Qiao Yanjing's scolding came from the direction of the bedroom in the video, and then Qiao Yanjing ran out of the bedroom barefoot. Her coat was taken off, leaving only a small vest and a skirt. Bai Jisoo wanted to drag her back to the bedroom in untidy clothes. She grabbed and pushed him away, shouting loudly, "Go away and stay away from me. You're not my husband. Get out." Bai Jisoo looked aggrieved and made a pitiful look. "Sister, I'm Su. Don't you like me? Get out, you're not Song Yan. Go. Leave my home." Who knew that Qiao Yanjing continued to scold Bai Jisoo like crazy. Bai Jisoo was scolded and shouted at Qiao Yanjing, "It was my sister who said you wanted to divorce your husband, so I came back with you and now you drive me away?" Qiao Yanjing began to go crazy again when she heard this. "You just got divorced. Your whole family is divorced. I won't get a divorce, I didn't get a divorce. A psychopath. Bai Jisoo was so angry that he cursed and slammed the door angrily. Qiao Yanjing chased behind him and threw things. As a result, she tripped and fell to the ground with her knees. She cried and screamed in pain. It hurt so much, woo-woo Song-yen? What responded to her was silence. She covered her knees and sobbed for a while, and then shouted, "My stomach hurts so much that I want to drink sober soup. Song-yen, I have a headache. Song-yen, please rub it for me. Song-yen, I feel uncomfortable, my whole body hurts." She called my name over and over again, but I didn't want to respond. My heart is full of mixed feelings. I thought they would be together tonight. Qiao Yanjing has high requirements for herself and she also has high requirements for me. We have many rules and principles to get along with each other, but these are nothing in Bai Jisoo's place. She attaches the most importance to image management and insists on sugar resistance for many years. She only drinks sugar-free coffee, but she eats milk nuts and chocolate beans given by Bai Jisoo, which are so sweet. That small can of chocolate is her bright preference, which makes my heart ache and makes me sad and pitiful. I looked at Qiao Yanjing, who was lying on the ground and looked a little embarrassed. I couldn't help laughing at myself. She only needed me when she was vulnerable. To be precise, what she needs is not me, but me to serve her on call. I had a headache after working overtime. I rubbed her head. After wearing high heels for a long time, I pressed her feet. After watching the computer for a long time, I massaged her cervical spine. She was still sleeping. I got up to prepare a delicious breakfast for her. When it was time for her to have breakfast, I would follow the matching in her photo to prepare the clothes and shoes she would wear when she went out. For so many years I have never distracted her from my life, and what she can't live without is my meticulous care. In the middle of the night, I was awakened by a nightmare. I turned on the light and was in a daze. I lost sleep again. I'm worried about Qiao Yanjing. I checked the monitoring. She got up from the ground, covered her stomach and sat on the sofa, not going back to the bedroom. Qiao Yanjing was stunned and didn't look very awake. The wound on her knee looked a little scary. Suddenly she cried bitterly. "My stomach hurts so much. Song-yen, where is the medicine?" Since she was hospitalized for gastric bleeding, I have been researching stomach remedies every day for the past few years. Although I am much better now, it hurts when I drink alcohol. Therefore, every time Qiao Yanjing has a social gathering, I will prepare stomach medicine for her in advance, and I will also make sober soup and wait for her to come home. I was worried that Qiao Yanjing would not be able to find the common medicine when she was not at home, so I prepared 2 medicine boxes, just under the TV cabinet. I told her many times, but obviously she didn't care about it. I can tell her through my mobile phone, but I don't want to say it, so I just look on the sidelines. For so many years I have always believed that sincerity can be exchanged for sincerity. But in the end, I only got scars all over my body. My love, my recklessness, and my efforts are probably garbage in Qiao Yanjing's eyes. I'm just a spare tire that she calls and waves. I hook my fingers when I need to, and I don't need to kick it away. Qiao Yanjing bent down with her pillow in her arms and kept shouting my name in a hoarse voice. Song-yen, Song-yen, where are you?" Probably the pain was too unbearable. She bent down and began to look for medicine everywhere. I rummed through the things and finally turned to the 2 medicine boxes I put in the TV cabinet. The medicine boxes were covered with notepaper, and the medicines were written in detail. She looked at the notepaper on it and held the medicine box and sobbed. She didn't take medicine that night. She hugged the medicine box and fell asleep on the sofa when she was tired of crying. I also couldn't sleep all night. 5. After lunch, I lay down and closed my eyes to recuperate. When I was sleepy, the phone rang, a strange number. "Hello, is this Song-yen? I want to talk to you." A slightly provocative voice came from the phone, which was Bai Jisoo. "I'm sick." I hung up the phone directly. Who knew that he would call again unforgivingly? I continued to hang up and block directly. But I underestimated his difficulty. He changed his number and called again. "I just want to talk to you about Sister Jingjing. What are you afraid of? Is it guilty? Obviously, you are going to get a divorce, but you still pester her. When you say divorce, you are actually wanting to get the old one. Don't think that you are pretending to be good. My sister will be deceived by you, but I won't." "Me? Eh?" I twitched the corners of my mouth, ignoring his childish and fierce roar. Last night, Qiao Yanjing shouted my name to drive him away, for fear of losing face, but no matter what the reason, he was not qualified to be wild in front of me. Qiao Yanjing and I are a legal husband and wife, and it is our private business to divorce. Who are you? Don't third parties know how high the world is like this? Do you need me to publicize your glorious deeds? I'm quite curious about how your company and school will deal with it. The phone suddenly became quiet and I sneered. I'm not interested in knowing what's about you and Qiao Yanjing. You'd better not be mean in front of me. I won't be so talkative next time. After hanging up the phone this time, Bai Jisoo didn't call again. It seems that he is much smarter than me, and knows that love is not the whole of life. That I really didn't blame him for my divorce with Qiao Yanjing. Qiao Yanjing doesn't love me, I know that, but even if she has a little respect for me, it won't happen. Unfortunately, my husband doesn't have any weight in her heart. Who knew that Qiao Yanjing called again just after hanging up by Jisoo and asked me to meet in the cafe. She was a little restless and twisted for a long time and squeezed out a sentence. I ordered your favorite mantoning. Try it. Do you like it? I pursed my lips and looked at Qiao Yanjing's cautious look, which was a little funny. What's the matter? Did you drink too much yesterday? I never thought that there would be a day when Qiao Yanjing would show her favor to me. It's really a long time. Seeing that I didn't say anything, she looked nervous and anxious and said, Songyan, I won't contact Jisoo anymore. When his internship is over, I will tell the company that he is not suitable and won't let him stay. I frowned and sneered. You and Bai Jisoo have nothing to do with me. Don't tell me. He and I really have nothing to do. I haven't done anything wrong to you. Songyan, why don't you believe me? Qiao Yanjing explained desperately. Yes, you haven't done anything out of the way. Last night, Qiao Yanjing pushed people away, but so what? No matter what happens between Qiao Yanjing and Bai Jisoo, the fact that Qiao Yanjing doesn't love me will not change. I took a deep breath and calmed myself down. I left this for the divorce certificate, and I came to see you for the divorce, that's all. My calmness angered Qiao Yanjing. She said in a sharp voice. Songyan, what did you say when you proposed? You said you would never leave me in your life. You said you would be good to me in your life. That's how good you are to me. I ignored her and she continued to yell at me. Do you have someone you like? Isn't it? All the people in the cafe looked at us. I interrupted Qiao Yanjing. You don't have to shift the focus. You know I don't have someone I like, and you also know that I didn't divorce because of Bai Jisoo. You know what I care about, right? Qiao Yanjing's eyes were fluttering and she didn't dare to look at me. I pushed the coffee in front of her. Qiao Yanjing, I don't sleep well. I haven't had coffee for a long time. Qiao Yanjing looked at me blankly and suddenly burst into tears. It's a wonderful thing to love someone. He will make you lose yourself, lose your judgment, and make you still full of wounds. However, it seems to feel good to love yourself. I want to love myself more for the rest of my life. 6. I thought that after the coffee shop, Qiao Yanjing would not contact me again. Who knew that she began to bombard good morning, good afternoon and good night, and also shared her little things about her life with me, and came to the hotel to see me from time to time. I also have a good meal when you are not with me. Saladphoto.jpg. I bought a pot of jasmine. They said that jasmine means emoli. I made a wish to jasmine today. Guess what my wish is? Where do you want to go if we travel together? I want to go to Paris. I like the meaning of the Eiffel Tower. In recent days, Qiao Yanjing has sent me more text messages than we have been married for 7 years. In the past, I sent them to her one by one. Sometimes she replied yes and sometimes she didn't reply to me. If there was something I needed to do, I would also send a voice message or call directly. It seems that Qiao Yanjing really doesn't want to divorce me, but I know it's not because of love. When she felt that I would never leave, she was only willing to enjoy my meticulous care and waste time on me. Even the time to reply to a text message seriously. Now that she found that I was really going to leave her, she panicked. By Jisoo busy work, all of them didn't exist. She had to take time to coax me. She didn't want to lose my licking dog for her at this moment. After all, it is really not easy to find such a fool who loves her so much, is willing to be the man behind her, and supports her work wholeheartedly. Maybe she didn't love her first love so much. She was the one who was not chosen, which made her very unhappy. This is the reason why she couldn't forget it. Otherwise, why did she agree to break up so easily and turn around and marry me? She doesn't love Bai Jisoo either, so she is so heartless. The love of a tall and handsome younger brother makes her very respectable and has a sense of accomplishment. It is worth showing off. What's more, that man is still so similar to her first love. But she doesn't love me more than them. She is obsessed with others and praises her as a strong woman with a rich career and love. It seems that this can show her excellence, and only in this way can she soothe the pain of being abandoned by her first love. It's a pity that the licking dog who lowered himself to the dust has woken up. I used to think that as long as I kept standing behind her, she would see me one day. Only now do we know that people must love themselves before they deserve to be loved. As soon as the cooling-off period came, I called Qiao Yanjing and asked her to get the certificate, which was also the first time I took the initiative to contact her recently. Qiao Yanjing found all kinds of excuses not to get the certificate, and ran to the hotel and said to me, Songyan, you haven't worked for so many years. Do you know that you have been disconnected from society? What can you do after divorce? Do you want to go home and grow old? It seems that he has been used to being high for so many years, and even if he is retained, he is said to be a gift by her. Qiao Yanjing, can't you give up on me? Look at you, it wastes my time by sending some unnutritious things every day. You make so many calls every day, and you haunt me endlessly like a dog's skin plaster. It's really annoying. Qiao Yanjing's eyes turned red when she heard these familiar words. She was not angry but choked and asked me, Songyan, do you really don't want me? Yes, I'm not soft-hearted. Qiao Yanjing lowered her head and was silent for a long time. Finally, she said in a hoarse voice, let's go. In the end, not only did she get the divorce certificate, but Qiao Yanjing also divided half of the property with me. After Qiao Yanjing's mother found out, she not only scolded me, but also called my parents and scolded them. She scolded them for being a shameless countryman and raised a vampire son who ate soft rice. She was so unscrupulous that she was struck by lightning. She completely forgot that she asked for a dowry of 500,000 yuan and pulled her relatives to rub our honeymoon trip. My mother hasn't been used to her since the last time she tore her face. She scolded directly. The old woman with half of her body in the ground, be careful of breaking her life if her mouth is so cheap. Qiao Yanjing's mother also threatened to sue me and let me spit out the money, otherwise my whole family would be in peace. Who knew that Qiao Yanjing was forced to die, and her mother stopped. For the first time in so many years she disobeyed her mother's will, but I didn't want to look back. I took my parents on a trip and cooked delicious food for them. I tried to edit the interesting things and daily life of the trip into videos and post them on the internet. I didn't expect so many people to like it. This gives me confidence. I originally graduated from the Department of Journalism. I think I can do something to catch up with such an era when ordinary people can also share their creations on the platform. I have become a self-media person. In addition to sharing my life, I also take pictures of all kinds of life, the bustling vegetable market in the morning, the hot hospital in the middle of the night, the homeless man laying the floor at the railway station, the old woman who picks up garbage. I live a very fulfilling life every day. I have stopped taking medicine and I rarely think of the past. When I heard the news of Qiao Yanjing again, I really felt like I was in a different world. I couldn't even remember the pain that I used to be. I thought I would sink into the abyss forever, but now I find that sometimes the abyss we think is actually just a small pond, just looking at whether we are willing to stand up or not. My friend said that Qiao Yanjing and I were in a very bad state after the divorce. Due to frequent mistakes at work, she was soon squeezed out of her position as director by her opponent. She resigned and went home in anger, and did not look for a new job. She stayed at home and drank every day. Her mother thought that Qiao Yanjing was beautiful and could make money. She was determined to let her marry a rich man. Now that her job is gone, she still stays at home and doesn't want to go out. Her mother was so angry that she came to scold her. Unexpectedly, she scolded more harshly than her mother. She said that she was harmed by her. She said that if her mother's marriage was not happy, she couldn't see her daughter's life. She said that my divorce with her was because of her mother. She also sold the house she bought for her mother, and directly sent her mother into the hospital. Bai Jisoo didn't change his mind to take a shortcut. When he went to another company, he repeated his old trick. This time he caught a big fish and hooked up with a rich boss with many companies. After being together, Bai Jisoo wanted to rise to the top and made trouble with her husband. As a result, the rich woman's husband found someone to beat him, which made his face up, and his arms and legs were broken. The rich woman ignored him. He didn't even ask for medical expenses without evidence, and the person was useless. The rich woman and her husband have been playing separately for a long time. Everyone knows who is a little crazy, but there are really few people who dare to show his face in front of him. Bai Jisoo also kicked the iron plate. Hearing this news, I had mixed feelings in my heart, and suddenly I remembered the copy of an uploader. Life is originally a person's journey, and the only thing worth chasing is the sun. Let the past go. People always have to look forward.